In the mid-1700s, the French countryside lived in fear of a predator that ripped people apart in broad daylight. Was it a hulking wolfdog, France's first werewolf sighting, or something far more sinister? A killer hiding behind a legend. The Beast of Gévaudan left a 3-year trail of blood, terror, and whispers of conspiracy that still echo today. France in the mid-1700s was a hard-ass place if you lived outside the city. The countryside of Gévaudan was remote, poor, and heavily forested. Wolf packs already haunted the villages, taking livestock and sometimes people. But in 1764, something far worse showed up. Something bigger, faster, and meaner than any ordinary wolf. And it didn't just kill, it fucking mutilated. The first attacks came in summer. A young girl tending cattle was mauled, her body ripped apart in broad daylight. Then another victim, then another. Soon whole communities were living in sheer terror, convinced a supernatural beast was stalking them. Unlike normal predators, this goddamn thing seemed to go out of its way to target women and children, killing them in open fields and dragging them off before help could arrive. Within a year, dozens of folks were dead. The final toll would top 100, with even more survivors left horribly wounded. Reports described a massive, wolf-like creature with reddish hair, an oversized head, and teeth that could crush bone. Some swore it could shrug off bullets. Others whispered it wasn't an animal at all. The terror only ended in June 1767 when a local farmer named Jean Chastel brought the beast down with a single shot. At least, that's what the official record says. But the story didn't die there. Whispers of cult involvement, secret rituals, and even a trained animal began to circulate, raising the question, was the beast really just a beast? The Beast of Gévaudan terrorized south-central France between 1764 and 1767 in a region nestled in the Majaride Mountains. For over 3 years, there were 210 attacks, leaving 113 people dead and 49 wounded. 98 of the victims were found partially eaten. The sheer scale of the killings sent entire villages into oh shit mode, and some people swore the creature wasn't just a wolf, but something far stranger. The attacks covered an area spanning 56 by 50 miles. Eyewitnesses described a tawny or russet-colored animal with a black streak along its back, and a tail way longer than a wolf's, ending in a tuft. It had fucking huge teeth and claws, a frame the size of a donkey or cow, and an elongated head with pointed ears. Some even claimed it could haul ass across fields like it was flying. Contemporary accounts suggested it might have been a young lion, a striped hyena, a massive wolf, or some hybrid wolfdog. Victims were often attacked in the head and neck, and several witnesses insisted it could perform astonishing leaps, walk on its hind legs, and even shrug off bullets. The first attack came in early summer 1764 when a young woman tending cattle in the Mecquois forest near Langogne encountered a beast like a wolf, yet not a wolf. Fortunately, the herd's bulls charged it away. The first official victim was 14-year-old Jean Boulet, killed near Lehubach on June 30th. Another 14-year-old girl died on August 8th in Montmajour. As attacks multiplied, terror spread. Lone men, women, and children were fair game. By December, rumors suggested a pair of beasts might be responsible, given how many attacks occurred nearly simultaneously. Most reports note that the beast only targeted the victim's head and neck regions. Some say the beast had supernatural abilities. They witnessed the beast perform crazy huge leaps. People also said they shot the beast and it either repelled the bullets or came back from the dead after being struck and wounded. By the end of 1764, a bounty of 2,700 livres was offered for the person who could kill or capture this fucking thing. This amount was equal to a year's pay for working men at the time. The local bishop and count called for prayers, but it didn't stop the killings. On January 12, 1765, even children were targeted. 10-year-old Jacques Portefeuille and 7 companions, aged 8 to 12, were attacked. Portefeuille laid the smackdown with some sticks, driving the beast off. King Louis XV rewarded him with 300 livres and an education paid for by the crown. The children's heroics prompted the court of King Louis XV to send royal hunters to destroy the beast, offering a 6,000 livre bounty. News of the attacks and the bravery of villagers spread from Boston to Brussels, becoming one of history's earliest media sensations. Among the tales of badassery was of Marie Jean Vallet, a 20-year-old servant. On August 11, 1765, she and her sister were attacked by the beast while crossing a stream. Armed with a bayonet attached to a pole, she impaled the beast's chest. She totally fucked it up. The monster ran off into the hills. Royal intervention arrived in February 1765 when 2 professional wolf hunters brought 8 trained bloodhounds to track the creature. 4 months later, after their failed efforts, they were replaced by Francois Antoine, the king's lieutenant of the hunt. Antoine eventually killed a massive-ass wolf called the Wolf of Chazes on September 20th, 1765. The large gray wolf measured 31 inches high, 5 feet 7 inches long, and weighed 130 pounds. The gray wolf was said to be pretty fucking big for a wolf. Survivors, including Marie Jean Vallet, confirmed the beast's scars matched the location where she impaled it. Antoine's hunting party later killed a female wolf and a pup, the latter with a rare double dew claw, 2 small extra toes on the inside of its front legs that don't touch the ground, a rare genetic defect. For his efforts, Antoine received fame, titles, and more than 9,000 livres. Folks started to believe that Antoine had indeed killed the fucking beast, but rumors spread of new attacks. On December 2nd, 2 boys aged 6 and 12 were unsuccessfully attacked, suggesting that the beast was still alive. The king was alerted, but Louis XV no longer wanted to hear any more goddamn shit about a ferocious beast that his 71-year-old gun-bearer had seemingly overcome. The newspapers were ordered to stop doing stories on it. Despite this, attacks continued through 1766 and early 1767, though they were less frequent and more cautious. Some blamed wolves. Many doubted the royal hunters had killed the real beast. Then, on June 19, 1767, a local hunter named Jean Chastella shot a creature during a hunt on Montmouchet. Interestingly, his ammo wasn't your typical lead musket round. He fashioned his shot from a silver chalice that was blessed by a priest, A silver bullet killed the beast. Its body was taken to the Chateau de Besque, examined by Dr. Boulanger, and confirmed its stomach contents contained human remains. Unfortunately, the creature's remains were decaying so quickly by the time Dr. Boulanger acquired them, he couldn't make a conclusive identification of the animal. However, the attacks mercifully ended. Witnesses described the beast as relentless and ambush-focused, striking at dusk and dawn. Some victims were decapitated. Most were attacked in open fields and even villages. The creature's agility allowed it to jump over walls ordinary dogs couldn't, and it seemed fearless of humans. With a lean, elongated body, the Beast of Gévaudan left an indelible mark on history, a blend of terror, mystery, and the unshakable feeling that France had faced something far beyond fucked up. On June 20th, 1767, just one day after Jean Chastelle shot the beast, the royal notary wrote an autopsy report. Preserved in the French National Archives and rediscovered in 1952 by a historian, the document gives precise details about the animal. This animal seemed to us to be a wolf, but extraordinary and very different by its figure and its proportions from the wolves that one sees in this country. The report even lists its dental arrangement. The upper jaw had 20 teeth, 6 incisors, 2 canines, and 12 molars, while the lower jaw had 22 teeth, 6 incisors, 2 canines, and 14 molars. This strongly suggests the creature was some type of canine, even if it didn't look like any kind of wolf locals had ever seen. But even with these details, questions remain. Was it really just a wolf or something far stranger? Skeptics, believers, and conspiracy theorists all have their own takes, and some of them are downright chilling. When it comes to skeptics, the simplest answer is often the most boring, but also the most likely. Wolves were a serious problem across Europe in the 18th century, not just in France. Thousands of deaths were attributed to wolves during that time. In fact, right in the middle of the Gévaudan hysteria, spring 1765 saw a lone wolf northeast of Paris kill at least 4 people over 2 days before being tracked down and sent to hell by a man wielding a pitchfork. That's just fucking badass. So yeah, man-eating predators were very real. Based on the beast's reported appearance, behavior, and the historical range of certain animals, modern researchers argue the beast encounters could be blamed on the Italian wolf. Wolves were native to the Majeride Mountains, and many attacks on humans were already documented. Statistics show wolves assaulted humans 9,000 times in France between the 17th and 19th centuries. Most of those were rabid, but the Beast of Gévaudan seems to have been healthy since none of its victims contracted rabies. It was obviously an aggressive predator. That being said, skeptics agree the beast wasn't an ordinary wolf. Eyewitness descriptions were consistent. Tawny or russet fur, dark streaks down its back, a tail longer than usual with a tuft at the end. Massive size. This opened the door for other plausible explanations. Some have proposed an escaped subadult lion, which would fit the size and ambush hunting behavior. Biologist Karl-Hans Tocke points out that lions can decapitate prey, grab targets by the neck, and have a similar range to the beast's roughly 56 by 50 mile Gévaudan territory. A subadult male lion wouldn't have a full mane, and its back would have a darker-haired mohawk down it. A perfect match for many eyewitness sketches. Others have suggested striped hyenas from a traveling menagerie, which would explain the unusual coloration and unfamiliar shape. Large wolfdog hybrids also make sense, close enough to a wolf to fool witnesses, but different enough to freak the shit out of people. Ultimately, the skeptical case is that the beast was a type of canine, most likely a wolf or wolf hybrid animal. Large, lone wolves could account for the high number of attacks. Lions or hyenas escaped from captivity could also explain the unusual size and behavior. Whatever it was, the skeptics argue it was a flesh and blood predator, not bullshit magic or fuck-off myth, but one that terrorized a region already terrified of wolves. While the skeptical folks, for once, have a strange and unusual line of thought, the believers said, "Hold my beer." If you asked the people of Gévaudan back in the 1760s, they weren't seeing some ordinary wolf flapping around. They were staring down something straight up fucking supernatural. The size, the appearance, the violence, and the sheer elusiveness of this creature didn't match anything they knew from the land. Every attack felt deliberate, calculated, and terrifying. It wasn't just a predator, it was something darker, something way beyond normal understanding. A lot of folks believed the beast wasn't even an animal in the traditional sense. Werewolves were very real, and I'm not talking about the cheesy fucking Hollywood monsters we think of today, but humans who could shapeshift into wolf-like beasts. And honestly, it fits. Almost too perfect. The beast didn't just roam like a regular wolf. Several witnesses swore it walked on its hind legs. It leapt impossibly far distances, and bullets seemed to have zero effect on it. To the people being attacked, it wasn't a goddamn wolf. They were looking at something cursed, something straight out of the shadowy corners of folklore and made into flesh. Some went even a step further and argued that the attacks weren't random, they were planned. They claimed there was a commander directing the wolves, or the beast itself was the commander. A creature so cunning it orchestrated its hunts with terrifying precision. Entire communities were being picked off one at a time. People saw patterns, strategies, even an intelligence that went beyond a wild animal. You don't survive being hunted like it was unless something otherworldly is at play. Others speculated the beast was something prehistoric, a European direwolf, supposedly long extinct, somehow surviving in the dense forests of Gévaudan. Think about it. The size and ferocity of the character described by eyewitnesses easily matches what we know of direwolves. It would explain the sheer strength, the hunting technique, and the fear it instilled. If a predator from another age had survived into the 18th century, it would absolutely make people shit their pants. To the locals, this wasn't just survival. It was a nightmare walking in daylight. And then there's the silver bullet, the one that finally killed the beast, fired by Jean Chastel. Look, believers see this as no coincidence and a no-brainer. Silver isn't just metal, it's magic, holy, capable of fucking up evil. Only a cursed creature, like a werewolf, could survive everything else but be stopped only by a blessed silver bullet. That bullet wasn't an accident. It was fucking proof. Proof that what they faced was beyond normal. proof that folklore and fear had manifested into a real, deadly creature. Some even whispered about cults, claiming the attacks were orchestrated as part of dark rituals. Whether that's true or not, it adds to the bigger picture. This thing wasn't ordinary. It wasn't a wolf, a lion, or a dog. It was something alive with a purpose, possibly tied to forces humans couldn't control. Every attack, every terrorized village, every mutilated body screamed this was much more than flesh and blood. All the logic in the world can't explain the beast. Its behavior, its resilience, and its sheer ferocity all point to the supernatural. Werewolf, ancient predator, cursed animal, call it what you want. The people of Gévaudan weren't paranoid. They were survivors trying to make sense of something utterly unexplainable. And honestly, believers today still look at history and think, yeah, something beyond fucked up was out there in those forests, hunting, terrifying, and impossible to ignore. But if you thought that was insane, it gets much stranger and darker when you look at the conspiracy theories. When it comes to the Beast of Gévaudan, some folks don't buy the whole big wolf or exotic animal explanation. Shit, in conspiracy corners, the story gets way darker and way more twisted. Let's start with one of the creepiest theories, the serial killer in sheep's clothing. According to this theory, the beast wasn't really a beast at all. Instead, it was a human, a cold, calculated, sadistic person using a wolfhound or some large animal to do their dirty work. The concept is totally fucked up, but when you look at the details, it sort of fits. The attacks weren't random. Some victims were found partially eaten or decapitated, which some say points to a level of gruesome carnage beyond a normal wolf. This theory suggests the killer would direct his trained animal to commit the murders. Then the killer would cut off their head. The locals, seeing the chaos and hearing about the monster, assumed the beast was responsible. Fear spread like wildfire, exactly what the killer counted on. The appeal of this theory is that it explains a lot of the strange behaviors the beast exhibited. Its intelligence, its coordination, and even its elusiveness. Wolves, sure, are smart predators, but they don't stalk victims in such a methodical way across decades. A human using a trained wolfhound? That could easily pull off the kind of fucking chaos reported in Gévaudan, while making the authorities and townspeople look useless. And let's be honest, a serial killer hiding behind the guise of a supernatural wolf is the kind of story that would fuck with any rural community, especially in 1760s France. Now, throw in a little royalty conspiracy, and things get even weirder. Some theorists suggest the beast wasn't just terrifying the peasants for fun. It was part of a bigger plan by the French monarchy. The theory goes that Louis XV and his advisors may have used the terror of the beast to distract the public from political scheming, economic issues, or even military plans. The idea is that while everyone was freaking the fuck out because of some mysterious killing machine in the woods, the crown could quietly maneuver behind the scenes without opposition and notice. The royal cover-up theory leans heavily on the peculiar way authorities handled the situation. Francois Antoine, the king's professional hunter, supposedly killed a wolf thought to be the beast, but attacks continued afterward. The crown's apparent insistence the problem was solved despite ongoing killings raises eyebrows. Were they hiding something? Were they orchestrating events to make the monarchy look capable, even while the countryside suffered? Believers in this theory think so. What if you combine these two ideas? The serial killer and his trained wolfdog are paid by the crown to cause chaos for public manipulation. Jesus, you get a plot that's thicker than your mom. A human using an animal to commit murders, coupled with a monarchy that quietly encouraged or exploited the fear, paints a scenario that could make the official explanations look downright pussified. Whether you buy into these theories or roll your eyes into the back of your head, they show just how much the beast captured the imagination of the people, and why its story has endured for centuries. The truth may never be known, and maybe that's exactly how it was intended. Because the real horror of the Beast of Gévaudan isn't just what attacked the villagers. It's how impossible it is to separate fact from fear, human cruelty from natural predation, and history from myth. And in that shadowy space, the beast thrives, even now, almost 300 years later. In the end, the Beast of Gévaudan is gone, killed by Jean Chastel back in June of 1767. Or at least, that's what the official story says. Whether it was a wolf, a wolfdog, a rogue lion, or something far more sinister, no one can be 100% sure. The forests of Gévaudan are quiet now, but the legend isn't. Stories of the beast still send chills down spines, whispered in dark corners, passed down through centuries, and maybe, just maybe, the story didn't end in Gévaudan. Somewhere out there, in the dark silence of forgotten woods, something stirs. Not seen, not heard, just waiting. And when it chooses to return, we'll know. Are you a fan of weird-ass monsters, cryptids, aliens, or UFOs? Tap that like button and subscribe. That way, you won't miss out on more of my fucked up commentary. And besides, I really do appreciate it. Was the Beast of Gévaudan a hybrid wolfdog, a werewolf, or a serial killer directing a big murderous dog? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're ready to crank that shit way up to 11, that join button's got your name on it. For just $2.99, you can have my back in a huge way. Until next time, y'all keep it real, keep it chill, and stay creepy! Catch you on the flip. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. You are the real beast.